Hello and welcome to On Your Left podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Alex, and today we have a special guest with us. Do you want to introduce yourself, Blue Man?
Hi, I'm Jack. Hello, I'm Jack.
Go on,
So
Chris.
today we're going to be talking about, this was suggested by Jack and as well as Alex. They're the main two speakers for this one. I don't have as much knowledge on it, but the topic's going to be about the Jokers and how we rate them, what ones we think are best and all of that stuff. So do you guys want to start on the most recent Joker movie? Your thoughts on that?
I know you definitely have an unpopular opinion on this one.
Me? Yeah, I've
definitely.
got a very unpopular opinion. So you say your bit first, and then I'll come in and upset all the fans.
Right, well, I fucking think it's great. I think that Joaquin Phoenix does an amazing performance. The whole film is more than just like a superhero film, like the whole emotional aspect with his mental health issues. I don't think his performance as a Joker is better than Heath Ledger's, however, in terms of the role of the character. But as a comic book film and the underlying themes and all that, it's easily a 9 out of 10 film. Like, I can see why it got nominated for so many Oscars.
I'm similar to Jack on that one. I think their portrayal of the Joker was a bit different because theirs wasn't really down the whole like gangster mode that you remember, like Suicide Squad, and that he was more of like a leader, whereas that one was more of like the mental side of the Joker. So.
Yeah, so a little bit of on what you said a second ago, Jack, with the comparison to Heath Ledger. I personally use Heath Ledger as a basis for comparing all of the other Jokers, like previous and the ones that have come after him, so Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix. And don't get me wrong, I think Joaquin Phoenix is insane. His performance is insane. I think he definitely deserved all the nominations, everything that he got awarded for. But in the context of the film, I personally didn't enjoy it because I thought it was too sad. I'm not taking away from the fact that it's a great film. I just don't, and I think the way that Joaquin Phoenix portrays the Joker is very good. I just didn't personally enjoy it.
I guess so. It's got is much definitely like slower vibe than all that. Like the process of him becoming the Joker is like the majority of the film. Like it's not like it starts with action and then it's action the whole way through. It sort of build up the whole way right until the end.
Creepier.
Yeah, it just makes you feel uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, this is the first film where you see it from the Joker's perspective as well, which is why he's like, there's the whole like theme of him being the unreliable narrator. With like at the end when it's revealed that his performance in the comedy club, he wasn't actually accompanied by the woman. I forgot her name.
Oh yeah.
And then how he doesn't actually like have any romantic relationship with her. It's all like thought in his head. Every other film is either a Batman film featuring him or like Suicide Squad. He's still, even then, he's a background character. You don't see it from his perspective.
Yeah. So from that, do you think that the way that we see it from Joaquin Phoenix's point of view, do you think that that's how all of the Jokers are thinking? Because obviously we see mainly from the Batman side of you, don't we? Like with the portrayal of the protagonist and the hero and Joker being the bad guy, the crazy guy, however you want to label it. And then obviously you spin it on its head, and we've got it as Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is very dark, very sad, very emotional. Do you think if we were to take, say for example, Heath Ledger, or I know Jared Leto only really appeared in one film, or any of the older Jokers as well, do you think we still get that similar sort of depressing, emotional vibe?
Well, it's not the first film, but this is the film where you see the creation of the Joker and you see him become the Joker. In Suicide Squad and The Dark Knight, he's already the Joker. He's well into the lifestyle. The only other one you see him kind of become the Joker in is the Jack Nicholson original, but it's not a full backstory and it's not a whole film dedicated to it. It's still a Batman film with him in. So I'll leave that one to the side. But then this one, I feel like the Joker character has an element of everything in it. You've got the whole dodgy mental health side, you've got the Agent of Chaos side, like the Dark Knight. You've got the gangster side, like Suicide Squad. It's just different timings and scenarios of his life, and much like in the comic books, where there are different versions of any given character, and different portrayals of them and stuff like that. You have the different Green Lanterns and that. You still have the Joker, but the different sides to him. This one just focuses more on his creation and showing his mental psyche truly failing. Like I said, with like the Dark Knight and the Suicide Squad portrayal, they're already fully in deep in the role of the Joker, or the character that is the Joker, and just tearing shit up, really.
I think it's quite interesting as well, because I don't know, I think this is correct, but there's like no official backstory of the Joker. Like the one for the film is just one that they decided to make. It's not like that's set in the comic.
Yeah.
I know that it said that he fell into, what was it, like a vat of chemicals or something.
I think they kind
Yeah.
of
That's
portrayed
what,
that a
like,
little bit in Suicide Squad, didn't they, with him and Harley falling into the chemicals.
Yeah.
Very briefly.
Yeah,
But you don't know the Joker's real name or
There's-
stuff like that. Like it's not like
There's
official one backstory.
yeah. I'm not like, I don't know the whole history, the whole 80-year history of the Batman comics or whatever, but I am pretty certain there's not been a definite, conclusive backstory to the character where they have repeated it multiple times.
Yeah.
We all
like
know the
Spider-Man
story.
or Batman.
Yeah, we all know the story of Batman with his parents
Yeah,
and all that. And like you said, Spider-Man of Uncle Ben. It's like in the Dark Knight when Heath Ledger's character keeps saying like, I put a knife in my mouth and then that's how I got the scars, or Daddy came at me with a knife, and it's sort of backs unreliable narrator kind of vibe to him, because he doesn't ever really say or give anything away. It's just kind of there is no official backstory.
Do you think that adds to the sort of mystery of
go.
it?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Like
If you knew who he was, he wouldn't be like half of.
I think that's what makes certain characters better or worse, is knowing who they are compared to their alter egos. For example, you know that Batman can hold his own against most people, but he is just he's not a regular because he's rich, but he is built like a normal person. He's not exactly like 6'10". He's not like 5'2". He's just.
It's not like got any super enhanced qualities either.
Yeah, he just takes what he has and he works with it. Likewise,
You could say that the same
the
with
Joker.
Iron Man, though, can't you? Then he can.
They're smart.
But then
and all
you
that.
look at the difference in how those two are as well, because obviously they've got the not similar upbringing in terms of the. Well, I mean, you kind of do have the similar upbringing with the parents dying early, because obviously Iron Man's parents were killed as well. Not obviously as young as Bruce Wayne, but the rich, the billionaire, that whole portrayal, and then obviously Iron Man uses that, or Tony Stark even, he uses that to portray the sarcasm, whereas you see Bruce Wayne's a little bit more darker, a little bit more mysterious.
Yeah, it's also like the way, like you said, the way they were brought up. Like Bruce Wayne was brought up in a proper dodgy area. Like Gotham's not exactly, the nicest, the sunniest, the cleanest of places.
Yeah, they always portray it really dark, don't they?
And it's a proper gothic environment.
I think my favourite portrayal of
whereas,
Gotham is in the Arkham game series. Quality.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really dark. That's
Yeah,
more dark than the movie.
it's always nice. I get what
I
you're
think that's
saying
a really
there.
good portrayal, though.
I think that's the issue though with the films, is they can only take what already exists, which is why they use Chicago and New York to film the cities, because it's the closest they've got in terms of the layout and how it's an island and all that stuff. Whereas the games, like obviously they can make whatever they want, closest to the portrayal of the comics, where again they can make whatever they want. But when you compare it to Iron Man, he was a lot older when he went through that. He was already not established, but like he was already, like they say, he was already making computers and his own AI and stuff like that. And then tits up, it went with his family, and then he kind of he was in a better place. He was in Miami or places like that, like where there's it's just better environment. So that's why that leads to his his behaviour, and that is always being a bit chirpier and a bit more sarcastic.
Yeah, I guess that.
Should we move on to the Dark Knight film? Because we've kind of gone from the Joker to like Batman to
I know.
Iron
Yeah,
Man now.
It's all in
Dark
one.
Knight films. So I have another unpopular opinion in this, that I think The Dark Knight Rises is the best of all three films. Yeah.
I'm kind of back and forth.
Boy.
Hear me out. I think the best in terms of performance of all the characters, obviously Heath Ledger's Joker. I think that's one of the best portrayals of a character in any film ever, of any franchise. But as a comic book reader, and I've read DC comics way before I started Marvel. I started reading DC when I was about 8, I'd say. And to see Bane in the films was just incredible for me.
It's quite different though.
So you're basing it off your personal likeness for
No, so I'll
Bane.
talk about personal likeness compared to the film quality. Personal
Okay.
preference, Dark Knight Rises. Film quality, The Dark Knight.
Okay, I get what you're saying there. I mean, the bigger payoff and the more like fan rewarding film is definitely
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises, because you have, I mean, he saves the whole of Gotham. It's made public. It's not like he's fighting in the shadows anymore. He gets the whole police force rallied with him, where for the previous films they were against him. And, yeah, I get what
I
you're saying
actually
there.
really like the fact of
But-
Harvey Dent in as Two-Face in that film as well. I
Yeah.
think that's a very
Yeah.
good sideline story as well.
I was just going to mention that as well, because in The Dark Knight you have Two-Face, but then in The Dark Knight Rises you have Catwoman, so it's like there's more than one. villain in
Every
each film.
Batman film has two antagonists, because in the first one you got Falcone, kind of less a villain, and then you got Scarecrow, obviously the larger villain.
And
Ra's
Ra's
al
al Ghul.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah,
He's probably the main one.
he's not there
But
much,
Ra's al
but
Ghul
yeah.
sort of
And
kind
then
of
in the
comes back
second
into the
one,
last one as well, doesn't he?
yeah, but
not as not in
yeah,
the film,
I
but
mean,
like as the story
yeah.
development.
yeah, and in Dark Knight, obviously you have the Joker. You still have all the mob bosses, kind of to an extent. You've got, and then you have, the fall of Harvey Dent into Two-Face, come the third act, and then in Dark Knight Rises you have Catwoman, who traditionally is an anti-hero, so she kind of fits on both sides. You got Bane, who is just downright, bad guy, and then come the end of it, you have Talia al Ghul, who you only really see as an out-and-out villain for like 10, 20 minutes
Mm.
at the very end. But
Yeah, because obviously she was trying to create a partnership with her company and Wayne Enterprise, wasn't it? And she was portrayed as a kind of a good character throughout the whole film.
yeah, she wanted the clean energy
Yeah.
program just so she could get her hands on the
that's
nuke,
it.
and then Snake.
I haven't watched the films that recently though. I should probably rewatch them soon or something, because I've seen
nothing
some
else to
years
do.
ago. But yeah, I know.
Mm.
Quarantine.
Yeah, I've
and
nearly
all.
finished Star Wars.
Yeah, no, but I definitely think
That'll be the next one.
fair enough. But I definitely think Dark Knight is the best Batman film. It's still the best superhero film purely based on the story, in terms of like how it's created. Not necessarily
I have to
straight.
disagree with that
straight-
personally, because the defamation of Bruce Wayne and how he gets chucked into the pit and then the rebuild of his character, yeah, that just sits very highly for me. So again, it's
enough.
personal opinion, isn't it?
In terms of comic book adaptation, it's got to be one of the Marvel films, just because they're a lot truer to the source material. I think, at least. But I think Jared Leto's Joker was just a bit let down, to be honest, because he was in a shit film. That didn't help.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
I actually enjoyed the film, but it was shit. Do you know it's shit?
film,
you know it's
yeah.
bad, but you still enjoy
it
it.
was just a cheesy action film. It was nothing special. I mean, there was some of the performances weren't bad. Like Margot Robbie's performance as Harley Quinn, brilliant. Like I feel like there's certain characters where you just get a good performance.
Like Will Smith as well.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of like the Joker, I don't think Jared Leto's Joker was bad necessarily. Like his acting and the mannerisms, that all was good. It's just the film he was in was shite, and the way they decided to give him like the tattoos and give their own that was just a bit shite. Whereas again, like a character like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, there's certain like the characters, they're just a baseline. I feel like you can't necessarily be a bad version of that character because of who the character is. Because a bad Joker would be someone who's not crazy or not like sadistic or like that. Same for Harley Quinn. So you can't really have a bad version, because if you did have a bad version, then it's not true to the character. So it's a shit film, but it's got good performances in. But it still doesn't compare with 2019 Joker or 2008 Joker or even Jack Nicholson Joker.
I think the whole last section of the film is where it goes really downhill.
Yeah, it's just wishy-washy. It's just very basic. It's nothing where I'm like, oh, wow. They're in no real danger. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Every other film in the DC extended universe has a lot more levels.
But wouldn't you just count that as someone's take on it?
Climax in it when it comes to the final act and what's
I don't know
on
if
the
you're
line
going
and
to get
that.
into the DC EU as well.
Fast, but I'm just as a comparison for Suicide Squad, because it is a bad film which let down its actors.
Yeah. Do you got any other versions of Joker you want to talk about? Or?
We got to go with Mark Hamill's version, because he's technically the longest running in the cartoon and the films and that. His performance is just different though, because it's not him acting, it's all voice work, but he's very good at it.
Oh, we lost Alex.
He'll join us again momentarily.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I could probably cut this out from the recording if it doesn't flow very well.
Yeah, that's fair.
So what have you been up to lately then?
I've played a lot of Xbox, and that's about it really.
Yeah, played a lot of computer.
Yeah,
That's about
fair.
it. Played much Warzone?
I did at the start, and then got into FIFA quite a lot, and I've been playing 2K, and then I haven't played Warzone since the update, but I will eventually. There's just so much time to do stuff. I just can't be bothered. Like, one day I'll just laying in bed for 3 hours, then I'll jump on Xbox for 3 hours, then I'll watch YouTube and eat, and then
I've watched so much YouTube.
Next thing you know, I'm back in bed.
All right, we've got Alex joining back.
Alex has returned.
Oh. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. That's all right. Doesn't matter though. So where did we leave off? Mark Hamill Joker.
Mark Hamill Joker, yes. Yeah, and then I said Mark Hamill Joker's the longest running Joker, to my knowledge at least, and the only difference is he hasn't done any actual camera work. It's all voice acting, the games and that. But then even the performances in the games, like in Arkham Knight, top quality, or in the cartoons, just I think he's underappreciated for those who aren't necessarily as hardcore fans or necessarily know, like, some people don't even know it is Mark Hamill, for example. Like, so
I haven't watched that much of the
That's
cartoons, but from what I have seen,
I used to watch them a lot when I was younger.
About it a lot.
Yeah, but then the Arkham series
same, Jack.
is a quality game series. Right? I remember when Arkham Knight got released, it was June of 2015, I believe. I finished the whole game in a weekend. I just didn't sleep. I just didn't go out. I was proper neaky, but I was anticipating that game for ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a quality game series.
Yeah.
I don't really know many of the first versions of the Joker. I haven't watched
So
a lot of the old
the
Batman
first
stuff.
version was Jack Nicholson. Is that right? The original.
No, I think it was Adam West's Batman.
There's probably yeah. I mean, I don't
Quite a
remember,
long time ago.
Yeah. So.
don't remember that far back.
It was the one before.
Yeah,
Jack
Jesus,
Nicholson,
no.
I think.
That's.
Let me.
It's obviously I started lagging out the call, but when I literally before I went, I heard you lot talking about Jared Leto being like okay in his performance, just that the whole film was a bit of shit. Do you think that's what actually maybe decreased his performance and people see him as not a very good Joker? Is because the film was shit rather than his acting was shit?
Not entirely.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a 60. It's like a 65-35 towards the quality of the film. There is obviously him just generally not being as good as the others.
Yeah. because of the
Mm.
what he has like to go against his performance. A was like maybe not the best performance, but then compared to that, lowered it even more. And then as well as the film doing bad, it just put it all the way down that no one really.
It's a role which no one wants because of what's come before,
And immediately before him was Heath Ledger
yeah, exactly
as well.
And
So
that's
it
where
was like, yeah,
everyone thought it would it was peaked and would not be challenged. Joaquin Phoenix's performance did challenge it, and some argue it's better, but yeah, I don't see that, but
no, I agree with you on that, Tim.
I can see why people would think it is better, and it is still a quality performance. But it's the way that both Ledger and Leto prepared for the roles was very, very method acting. Like, I think there was a story that Leto sent all of his co-actors a present during filming, and he gave Margot Robbie like a dead rattlesnake to get into the character.
Yeah.
And that kind of method acting is what led to Heath Ledger going a bit
Crazy.
yeah. Well, some will argue at least. I do believe it is.
It's very committed to the role, but obviously some people could argue that it changed who he was as a person.
Yeah. And then that led to, obviously, further complications. In terms of the Adam West Joker, it's actually Cesar Romero who played him, but that was ages ago, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell you anything on
Yeah.
that, to be honest, personally. But
it's never really, piqued my interest, and I'm sure at the time it was quality, but
Yeah,
if you've,
just the style of filmmaking. back
if
then
you've
was
seen
completely different.
the Adam West Batman, it is... It's a weird one. I think they have like the bat shark repellent or something like that, or it's a strange one. So.
the only thing I like from the Adam West Batman is the Batmobile. I think that is awesome.
Yeah, no, I do like the costumes as well, but I think I prefer them because of the scene in Only Fools and Horses when they're running.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, that is a hilarious scene. Yeah.
I was thinking, do you guys want to talk about more DC stuff, and I could just split this into a part 1 and 2, or do just
Yeah, no, that works.
I don't mind. I can waffle for ages. Just give me material.
DC is great for me. If we're talking DC, I want to talk about the ranking Robins in terms of the characters. So you have Dick Grayson, you have Red Hood, Jason Todd, oh god, I've forgotten now. I've gone blank. Damian Wayne. Yeah, there's one more. Tim Drake.
Yeah.
How much do you guys know about that?
I mean, I think Damian Wayne's probably like the runt of the group. Dick Grayson's, I think he's probably the most well known.
Dick Grayson,
So
my
he's
favourite DC
probably-
character.
He's probably got to be number one.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we
fair
go.
enough. But then Jason Todd's story.
No, what you found?
I think Jason Todd's story might be the best.
That involves the Joker, so.
Yeah.
Or no. Yeah and no.
I mean, he got the
Oh yeah, because the Joker
he got the shit beat
Go on,
out of him.
Joe.
Well, I mean, he killed him, didn't he?
tortured, yeah.
Yeah, probably whacked him out of the crowbar. Tim Drake's kind of just like there, but he's not as bad as Damian Wayne, in my opinion, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, Damian Wayne is the runt of the group. But in terms of as Robin, Dick Grayson is the best. In terms of story context, then maybe Jason Todd because of what he turns into.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the most interesting to see how. So let's use them two as a comparison. Obviously, Dick Grayson was the longest Robin. He was the most loyal. Batman said he was the strongest. He was all around the best Robin that he had. Not necessarily like the best fighter, because the best fighter was Jason Todd, for obvious reasons. But then Jason Todd loved the violence. And obviously that's what small part of him. There was always a small angry part of him that the Batman was never able to control. Whereas Dick Grayson's parents also died when he was very young, so Batman could relate to that. So when he brought him in and he showed so much of that anger, Batman was able to control it for him, or help Dick control that.
Help control the dick.
And I think
nice.
and maybe that's what ultimately kept Dick Grayson a little bit more sane.
Well, you look at what Jason Todd became with Red Hood, and it is the complete opposite to Batman's demeanor and choices. Like, Batman chooses not to kill and stuff like that. Jason Todd couldn't give a fuck. Like, he's just
Yeah.
out here balling with dual wielding the pistols and all that. He's just like, it shows that the control didn't really last. Because
Jack,
Not
have
so.
you seen Titans on Netflix?
I was literally about to say that.
I have not.
Literally.
I've been slacking, I should say, with a lot of Netflix. I don't know what it is.
I'd definitely say give it a watch.
I've heard it is good.
It is very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And especially, I won't say too much spoilers, but season 1 is mainly about the main cast of Teen Titans. Obviously, Cyborg isn't in it because he's in the extended universe with Batman and Wonder Woman, all of them guys. So it's Beast Boy, Starfire, Raven, and Robin, or Dick Grayson. And then the second season kind of extends into Superboy, and then Wonder Girl, and
Got my dog.
further on. Yeah, definitely give it a watch.
I'll put it
Yeah,
on my
I was
list.
quite conflicted about season 1 though, because I thought like the main part of season 1 was pretty good, but then the ending was really bad. Like just the whole, there's this really bad guy that you can't beat, and then it's like, here's 10 minutes where just he gets beaten really easily. There you go. Moving on.
Well, no, because that happened at the start of... We're ruining this for Jack now.
Yeah.
That happens at the start of the second season, doesn't it?
Yeah, the first, like
Yeah,
right at the start,
right at the start of the
like, they have
first
this
episode
whole
of second season.
build up just to first 15 minutes of the next episode. Like, yeah, it's done. There you go.
No, I see what you mean. I think the first season was to show like everyone's character background and how they
Yeah.
can, especially the building of relationships between obviously Dick and Raven, Dick and Starfire, and then Raven and Beast Boy.
Yeah.
I think Raven's character portrayal was really, really good in that
She
as
got
well.
massively sidelined in season 2 though, because she was probably like one of if not the most screen timed character. Like the story revolved around her, and then afterwards
She is the strongest, in my opinion, of all of the Teen Titans. She was the
Did you
strongest.
watch the Titans cartoon back when you were younger? See, in that she was.
I've watched every single episode of
In
that.
that she had like a massive role with the whole story of her and Trigon. And then I
Yeah.
feel like that was that. I mean, obviously, not every episode was solely focused on that, but it was like the underlying main story. So she is a massive part, if not the biggest part. Take out Robin.
Yeah.
What
No,
do you
no,
guys
you are
think
right.
of the main films that have been released? So Batman v Superman,
Are we talking
Justice
DC
League,
Extended Universe?
Aquaman.
Yeah, extended
Yeah.
universe.
Well,
Yeah.
Batfleck is the best Batman that we never got, and I say that because
He was he had the ability to be the best Bruce Wayne, I think. I don't think anyone could beat all of the gadgets from the Christian Bale
I
Batman.
feel like his portrayal as both of them in Batman v Superman was quite good, minus him borderline killing people at the end. But all in all,
Batman v Superman is a great film. I think it is a really good
see, I've
film.
got weird opinions.
Justice League, no, not so. Justice League is terrible. Batman vs Superman is a good film.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's all right, but it falls short of something. But I can't exactly.
weird 'cause it's
pinpoint what
like-
it is.
Comedy. Marvel films like pinpoint they manage to navigate through the action and the comedy all in one film.
Yeah, but then
Whereas
you look at-
it's the DCU is just so dark the
Yeah,
whole
you look
way
at the Dark
through.
Knight trilogy, and that was very dark, but that was still very good. I feel like Batman v Superman just didn't find its feet, but
Yeah, it just didn't have the depth.
the character was then ruined. But the Batman character with Batfleck was ruined because Justice League, just poor film again, just didn't help his character. The writing did not help his character, and then he didn't get to make his solo film, which I feel like could have potentially saved his character, and obviously now we're on to Robert Pattinson, which I'm hopeful for because it brings us back to a younger. But then
I think he's a really good actor as well.
I don't know. I can't picture him yet, and I don't like the pre-release photos of the Batmobile or of his costume yet. It looks like bloody Daredevil.
No, okay, so the costume looks good. I don't really like the Batmobile though.
I just think it looks too much like Daredevil. Like, no, that's not what Batman's thing is. Yeah, but
obviously they've got similar morals though between Daredevil and Batman. Like they're not exactly heroes. Like they're anti-heroes who are trying to make justice for those for when the police can't.
They're not really anti-heroes. They're just more vigilantes who aren't recognised within the scapes of the law.
So how do you define between vigilante and anti-hero?
Well, anti-hero is like a Venom character or a Catwoman who have, to an extent, Deadpool's been given that label just because they have more, not violent tendencies, but more darker tendencies, or like with Catwoman being a dual thief, but then she'll go and help Batman, or stuff that's kind of like an anti-hero, or Venom in the film at least, not necessarily in the comics.
I feel like it can be defined as like, say you were like a member of the public in the film. If you were given what you saw in the news, you'd think they were a bad guy because you don't know their intentions. Whereas in like Daredevil and stuff, you wouldn't be like, oh, this guy that's going around beating up all the criminals and stuff is a bad guy.
Well, in the beginning series of Daredevil, from episodes 1 until about 6, he's portrayed as a bad guy, and Kingpin or Wilson Fisk manages to ensure all the blame of all the bombings that go out through New York fall onto Daredevil's shoulders, and they portray it as if it's his fault. So for a while, he is an anti-hero because everyone thinks he's bad, not knowing his intentions.
The oldest anti-hero is Robin Hood. He stole from the rich, which is him doing a bad deed, and then he gave to the poor, which is him being a good guy. Like, that's the most basic way of putting it. Whereas Daredevil's overall character and Batman's overall character, they are just good people doing good things, but obviously they're not recognised within the law, so they're seen as a...
So the vigilantes.
Yeah, whereas someone like Superman is just loved and all of that, and Superman's...
Yeah, so then you've got the golden boy of the Superman, your Captain Americas.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Your Wonder Woman's, that kind of thing.
Genuinely 100% good
genuine
morals,
superheroes, yeah.
By the book superheroes that you grow up with. Yeah. But the DCEU did fall off majorly after, like, you had Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Those were okay films which had potential. The only thing which really saved it for me was Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed that film. I think that was...
I like the first half.
I think Gal Gadot is a good portrayal of Wonder Woman. Aquaman was like... It had good moments, it had bad moments, it ran on too long.
It was fun to watch,
slow motion. Yeah.
I enjoyed Aquaman.
Again, Jason Momoa is really good as the character. But like, the issue with the DCEU is a lot of the characters and the actors are good in their roles, but the writing lets them down, and the overall films just let them down.
Yeah, that's true. I think the casting is great and the writing is bad. Because if the only casting that I don't agree with, although I think he's a good actor, I don't agree with Ezra Miller being the Flash.
Fair.
He's
almost too awkward in it.
Yeah, because
he's more of a...
The original Flash was more...
like a bit like Spider-Man, kind of a bit
cheeky chappy, kind of... like what Peter Parker is more like. Rather than they really made him really edgy, really nervous, really quiet, really shy.
Yeah.
And really hesitant to fight as well, I think.
Yeah, the DCEU films were just a bit... So... But then that's also coming off the back of the Dark Knight trilogy, which was top class. And then you had like the Michael Keaton Batman films, which were good. You had George Clooney Batman, which was shit. You had the bat nipples in that one. But yeah.
Have either of you ever watched Gotham?
I watched the first series, and then I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. Like, I was just not bothered by it.
No, that is good. That is really, really good.
Yeah.
That kind of shows the side of the police, doesn't it? In that way, with Gordon.
Yeah. Ooh. But I think the portrayal of the Joker in that
Maybe or not.
the portrayal of the Joker in that is supposed to be quite good. Although it's not. It wasn't the.
It's young. It's good because it's from a
yeah,
younger point of view.
Was it not?
It's really, really good.
Like, again, I haven't seen it all. I don't know fully. I just know some aspects of it. Was it him before becoming the Joker and then as the Joker, or did he just come into it as the Joker?
So I don't want to reveal too much in case you watch it.
He's not like been named as the Joker yet. He's like the Joker, but with like unofficially, isn't he? Like they haven't said this is the Joker. He's just a crazy character.
He calls himself the Joker, and he has a following where all of his little minions, whatever you want to call them, like his followers, disciples, they all call him the Joker as well. And that kind of takes shape in season 4, season 5, whereas he's brought in like the end of season 2, beginning of season 3. So there's like a whole build up where they just call him by his character name. I won't say the name because I want to let you watch it and you'll find out for yourself. And I've also forgotten. That's the real reason.
Fair enough.
That's the real reason.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I haven't been too interested in Gotham. I've seen it a few times. Like I remember I watched the first 2 episodes not too long ago, trying to get into it, but it just didn't really. Like I didn't really have the drive to keep watching it.
I mean, that was like me after the first series. I don't know what it was. There was nothing necessarily bad about it. I just couldn't be bothered. It just didn't grip me enough to be like, right, bang on season 2 right now. I was just like, I'll get to it eventually, and then I just haven't.
Yeah.
That's what I'm at with Power.
See, I've never
Like,
seen
I've watched
Power.
all of the first season of Power. Watched all the first season of Power. It's really good. And I'm just like, oh, I'll get to the second season, and I'll get there. I'll just like.
See, I'm weird because I don't watch stuff which is like traditionally the hype at the time. So I've never seen Prison Break. I've never seen
Me neither.
Breaking Bad. I've never seen Lost. I've never seen Power. But then I've seen stuff like Band of Brothers or The Pacific, which are like some of the greatest series ever made.
More low key.
Yeah, Band of Brothers. I mean, I think it's the overall best series ever made, even though it's only 10 episodes. I didn't watch Game of Thrones until last year, when
I've still not watched it
just
at all.
before the last series.
There's a lot to it. Starts to go a bit down.
Oh, mate, the first 6 series can't be touched. Series 7 is like on the fence, and Series 8 was just like, why? Just why?
I found from sort of.
That's
like
the same with The
onwards.
Office. Season 1 to 6 is untouchable, and then that's where it starts to
See,
drift.
I've never seen The Office either, UK or US.
US,
Like
great.
towards the end of season 5 now.
Yeah, fair. I think I would personally prefer the UK one because I prefer UK humour. I love stuff like Only Fools and Horses and stuff like that. Just, deadpan kind of humour. Sarky kind of humour.
In terms of UK humour, I think Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, so...
Closely followed by Friday Night Dinner, and then the In-Betweeners, for me.
Yeah,
They're the 3.
I feel like they're all sort of aimed at like, I say people like our age, or like as in
it just
below
depends when they're
40
made.
year olds is who can all relate to it though.
Because, like...
I think In-Betweeners, yeah, I agree with that, but like my parents love Friday Night Dinner, and they also love Gavin and Stacey. So,
In between,
and I know a lot of people in the older generation who also enjoy Gavin and Stacey as well. So.
In-Betweeners, when it was made, is still relatable to us now in terms of what we went through, what they went through. Whereas something like Only Fools and Horses, I can't personally relate to, but then like someone my dad's age or my dad himself, because he's from a similar area, centre of London, kind of Cockney kind of lifestyle. That is his favourite. He loves it because he can relate to it. That's probably why I like it so much as well, because I, live with him and he can explain it if I don't get it. But
Yeah. No, I always personally I find the American comedies, like the cringy comedy. I'll say Friends, for example. I love Friends. I know a lot of people hate Friends, and I get why.
I do enjoy Friends
Because some people find it quite unfunny and over dramatic, but I personally enjoy it, and I think the same runs for all the American comedies. The Office, Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother's great. Always Sunny's pretty good as well. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is amazing. Parks and Rec is pretty funny.
I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine's a bit shit, to be honest.
Do you really?
I just don't enjoy it. I don't find it funny. I think it's very forced.
Oh, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is great.
I don't find Andy Samberg funny. That's with American comedy. I think a lot of it is forced, and you could kind of take what you find funny, which is why people either do or don't like Friends, and then whatever you don't find funny, you don't find funny. So I don't find Brooklyn Nine-Nine funny, but for some reason I find Friends funny. I don't know. It's just the way the jokes are delivered. Whereas
my take on it is like it's the characters. Like I enjoy watching the characters. I don't necessarily like.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Like
I get
I
that.
don't find a lot of it funny, but I just enjoy seeing the interactions between the characters.
The Office is so cringy. Like Michael Scott is so cringy, but Steve Carell's portrayal of the character is so great. It's so good. Jack, if you ever get the chance, just whack a couple of episodes on. Although season 1's terrible, so you have to kind of push through.
Listen, I've got a lot I need to watch in this lockdown. It's been 3 weeks and I haven't watched any of it. So
I was going to get onto that. What have you been up to in this lockdown? What have you been doing?
sleeping, eating, repeating.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Mm.
I went for a walk today. Second time I left my house since being home.
I've not left. I've not left since the lockdown's been on. Because immediately after the lockdown, rules were enforced. I got ill. I had a viral infection, a chest infection. So I have literally just been sitting in the house. So I've still not left yet.
The first week I had a cold, and I knew it was a cold because I was sneezing.
Yeah.
I'm all cushy now, but it's whatever, innit? For the record, my camera has just reached capacity, so
that's fine. We can end it here. So
yeah.
Jack's gone.
Yeah, I think that's.
Thank you very much for listening. If anyone's listening.
Thanks for coming on, Jack. We appreciate you coming on.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next time for another podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. See you later.